doctor. Wait some more. Call this specialist. More waiting. Sorry, the specialist is booked solid. You'll have to wait 14 more months. May I see your insurance provider information, please? Which credit card will you be using, sir? I'm going to need your copay, policy number, social security number, and the blood of a nanny goat. Please sit down. The doctor will be with you shortly, and by shortly, they mean sometime before the installation of the next pope. The next weeks and months were a miserable time to be alive. Fear was our main emotion. We never knew anything for certain about what lay ahead, and our minds became our perpetual tormentors, always racing toward the worst-case scenario between tests. There was a lump in my wife's breast and growths on her ovaries. The doctor's words kept replaying in my mind, akin to an old Bob Wills record I once had that skipped whenever it got to Cotton-Eyed Joe. Had not a been for Cotton-Eyed Joe, had not a been for Cotton-Eyed Joe, had not a been for Cotton-Eyed Joe, and my mother finally threw that record out from a second-story window like a frisbee, achieving incredible distance for someone who, let's be honest, threw like a girl. The doc said it might be this, it might be that. She might be okay. She might not. After about a month, I was experiencing something that amounted to moderate psychosis. I couldn't focus. I couldn't read books, watch movies, or carry on normal conversations without thinking about that one word in the back of my brain. And the weird thing was, my wife and I became very good at not talking about the worst possibilities, even though they were present in each unspoken word or emotion that passed between us. Finally, the fateful morning came when I drove the math teacher to the hospital for her first experience under the knife. They called it a procedure, a frightening word. The most important human in my life was having a procedure. Lord have mercy. I'll never forget the drive to the hospital. The mist was covering the old Florida road. Our chipped Gulf Coast highway was first commissioned in 1934, originally stretching from Apalachicola to Pensacola. At 671 miles, U.S. Route 98 is the longest road in the Sunshine State. And yet that morning, it felt about as long as my driveway. I sat behind the wheel in a trance. The woman beside me held my hand tightly. I kept my eyes on the road and tried to remind myself to keep breathing. She needed me to be strong. That's what I kept telling myself. That's what my friends kept telling me. Be strong. Be a cheerleader. Don't jump to conclusions. Stay positive. Everything will probably be fine. But what if things weren't fine? What if the person I loved the most on this earth was being killed slowly and invisibly? I have too many family members who have died from the C word, even more friends. Within a year, I'd seen 6 people I love succumb to or suffer with cancer. And cancer does not discriminate. It kills children and grandparents alike. We parked in the hospital parking lot. I shut off the car. Why did time seem to be moving so fast? I looked at my wristwatch and thought about tossing it, like my mother did with that Bob Wills record. Soon, Jeb and I were walking across the parking lot toward the towering hospital, holding hands tightly. Then came an awkward moment just before entering the sliding doors, when we had to release hands so we wouldn't look like the kinds of fools who sit on the same side of a restaurant booth. We released, and for some reason this letting go of hands was difficult. I can't explain why. As long as we were touching, things seemed a little better, but when we let go, this made us 2 non-touching ordinary people, adrift in the merciless world. And the thing is, I've never seen us as ordinary people. We've always been Jamie and Sean, always in that order, always said together. Some of my wife's high school students, however, know me as Mr. Jamie, and many of my wife's friends never even bothered to learn my name. They just called me Jamie's husband or what's-his-face, and I've always been okay with that. The most identifiable trait about me has always been her, and I wear this with pride. My wife is loud, confrontational, type A, hyper-organized, and uses language that undermines the Southern Baptist Convention. She can hold more beer than I can and sing the national anthem louder than me. She understands the onside kick better than most JV quarterbacks.